I'm Vinny Politan. Great to have you with us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And the big news, big night here. We've got one of our unsolved cases solved tonight. Solved. An arrest has been made. It was a long time coming. Let me tell you about the victim in all of this. Megan Tilman is her name. There's a picture of her missing since, or was reported missing in November of 2017. She was actually found before she was reported missing. Long story. They misidentified the remains, finally put it all together, but then could not solve the case. And now they have. 2 people under arrest in Arizona. In Arizona, you've got Williams Eugene Rice Jr. and Christina Gail Harnish under arrest tonight, charged with the death of Megan Tilman in Maryland. So how did they put this all together? What is the latest? Let's get the latest from our great affiliate WMAR down in Baltimore. Reporter Jeff Hager has the big news tonight.
She disappeared in the winter of 2017, and even though her remains had turned up in South County, it took 17 months before DNA evidence confirmed Megan Tilman wasn't just missing. She'd been murdered. Almost 5 years after her killing, Shannon Perry learned her niece's alleged killers had finally been arrested.
We kind of knew that we were getting close to an arrest, but it actually happening was pretty amazing. Really, it kind of, we were able to breathe again.
Christina Harnish and William Rice are behind bars where they moved to in Arizona. They had been Tilman's roommates. Perry says her niece had known Rice since middle school, and the couple was engaged to be married when Harnish moved in with them in what became a love triangle.
I think she trusted him more because she had known him as a kid, but he was not a trustworthy person. And I tried to point that out to her. I said, Megan, I haven't even met this man, and I've detected a couple of lies that he's told you.
Lies and deceit, not to mention an opportunity to take advantage of their roommate.
There was a little bit of money involved. They were moving out of the townhouse, and I had told Megan that she could have a certain amount of money to get set up. And we know, well, I don't really want to go there, but there was a little bit of money involved. And by that time, I think they were using drugs. And she might have just gotten in their way.
Tilman's family never had any doubt about who they thought was responsible for her death. And as the days and weeks turned into years in passing, their pain only grew. Police asked them to remain patient as they built their case.
The 2 that have been arrested with this offense had been on detectives' radar from the beginning. And like I said, sometimes it's that old movie line, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
And now Tilman's family moves a big step closer to justice for Megan's murder.
These are people that took someone else's life, and they need to be held responsible for that. Whether I can forgive them or not, there is nothing that's ever going to bring Megan back.
In Anne Arundel County, Jeff Hager, WMAR 2 News.
Big night. Big night. You know, you look at these cases unsolved. Will they ever make an arrest? Will they ever figure it out? Will they ever be able to get enough evidence to prove the case? Well, that's what they believe they have now. But that couple right now is in Arizona. This case is in Maryland. So we've got, some things that need to happen. Let's bring in our think tank tonight. Joining us in the Bronx, New York, criminal defense attorney Renee Hill. In Houston, Texas, criminal defense attorney Carmen Rowe. And in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, criminal defense attorney, civil rights attorney Kesia Early. Great to see everyone tonight. It's interesting because, and I'll start with you, Carmen, because there was the murder of the police officer, and you had a defendant who fled and was arrested in Mexico, and like the next day or so, he's back in the United States, extradited like that. Give us an idea here on what you expect to happen here. We've got 2 defendants in Pima County, Arizona now, but the charges are out of Maryland. What's going to happen here?
Vinny, I don't think it's going to happen as fast as we do things here in Texas when we have a manhunt for someone who shot a law enforcement officer. I expect there to be a lot of red tape. I don't know that these people have the kind of funds to get a lawyer in there that's going to fight extradition, but I think that's something that a good lawyer would do. And so it could be weeks, it could be months before we see them back in Maryland.
Renee Hill, these two were suspected. They were obvious suspects throughout all of this. They were the roommates. They were living as a throuple. But Megan Tilman, the way she was described to me, was someone who was a little bit naive, but very trusting. And that trust was obviously broken. But as soon as she goes missing, they don't report her missing, and they head out of town. I mean, that could be used against them in court, can it? The fact that your roommate's gone, you say nothing, and you leave town?
Absolutely. It can be seen as consciousness of guilt. The fact that she was not reported missing, they just left. Just like you said, they left. No one said anything, and they were roommates. And these were people that she trusted, that she wanted to, be around on a regular basis. And for them to just up and leave and not say anything and not have any care as to where she is, it certainly will look very suspicious.
Casey, criminal defense attorneys, I've learned the game through the years. I've learned if you arrest someone quickly, it's a rush to judgment. So what are they going to say now that it clearly was not a rush to judgment, but it was a protracted investigation? What is the defense going to say here?
Well, in this case, we know that the body had deteriorated severely once it was discovered, and then you had a DNA analysis to make a positive identification. And prosecutors, they only get one bite at the apple. So you can't bring a case based on a hunch or based on suspicion. You need to meet that high burden of beyond a reasonable doubt as to the evidence that you have. So in this case, because they did not have a body initially and did not have the identification, we know that now they built up enough evidence to not only arrest these two, but secure conviction once this case goes to trial. So in this case, time was on their side.
Carmen, I'm not sure what the evidence is. I don't know the strength of the case, but it took a while to get to where they are. 3 of them were living together. 1 of them is murdered. 2 now under arrest. Do you think there's going to be a deal to turn one against the other? And if so, is it just a race to the prosecutor? Please, me first.
Vinny, it always is in cases like this. But, this was the ultimate betrayal. And so these are people who are willing to betray someone and murder them in their own home once they were taken in. I mean, this is her boyfriend and a girlfriend that was brought in, perhaps a love triangle. We don't have all the details. So the state is going to look to roll one of these people on the other. And hopefully it'll be the person who committed this offense rather than the person who assisted that individual.
Yeah, to me, Renee, the difficulty, I think, for anyone is to figure out exactly who did what, right? Unless you get one of them to flip, then you might have a clear picture. But then the other side's going to say, no, it wasn't me, it was them.
Right. And, so there may be motions for severance if they are pointing the finger at each other. But they're definitely going to need to speak to one or the other to find out exactly what happened here, because it is a cold case. And, they obviously had these individuals as their suspects, and they have fashioned their case around them based upon whatever it is that they have derived over the years. And so it added up to probable cause for the arrest. I'm sure the prosecution at this point feels that they have enough to move forward and prosecute them fully. However, it would be so much better if they have the less culpable person giving them all of the details as to what happened.
Yeah, Casey, I think the bottom line to all of this tonight is that any case can be solved at any time, and anyone who has murdered someone else could be arrested at any moment.
Absolutely. And in this case, it can work for the prosecution, but looking at the other side, we don't have the details, just like Renee said. We don't know where the murder occurred. We don't have the actual crime scene. So this may be an uphill battle for the prosecution, but at the same time, we don't know how long they considered them a suspect during the investigation. So who knows what other evidence may come out during trial that will definitely not only point to motive, but the possibility of both the boyfriend, or how you say the throuple, were involved in this murder.
It's amazing when you look at the mug shots, Carmen, and then you look at the picture of the three of them together.
So they aged.
These last 5 years have been a little rough. Like, you look at this, right? And to me, that is 5 years of looking over your shoulder. That's what it does to you.
Well, there's no question, Vinny. I mean, it's a hard life to run from law enforcement for 5 years, but I think Mom's got it right. I think this is a drug motive, and it's clear from some of these mug shots, if you know anything about drug use, that these individuals seem to be engaged in that kind of conduct and have been for a while. And so, again, I think it's one of those things where they're going to start talking, and the first person who gets to the prosecutor is going to make the best deal.
And Renee, what's a deal in a situation like this? I always struggle with this because it's murder, right? You're alleging taking someone else's life. And as a prosecutor, I'm always like, well, what kind of deal are you supposed to give someone? Like, so if there's a death penalty, you take death off the table. I get that. Anything else, I don't really get.
Well, if there's life on the back end, like, here in New York, it's 15 to 25 to life. Maybe they.
What does that mean,
come
15
down.
to 25 to life? You murder someone, you can get out in 15 years in New York?
Yeah, you can get 15 to life. Anywhere from 15 to life to 25 to life on a murder. You can. But of course, the court is going to take into consideration all of the factors, if there are any specific circumstances. The guideline range is just that. It's a guideline. And so the court has every reason to look at the spectrum and determine if it should be a 15-year sentence or a 25-year sentence to life. And so a deal,
How about just plain old life?
Potentially be taking off.
How about just plain old life, Renee? Life for taking a life. You take a life, you get life. It should be automatic.
I didn't write the statute. Listen, I
All
didn't
right.
write the
Okay.
statute. Okay.
All right, folks.